frustrated, irritable, things are disruptive, different, feeling challenged. This is what we're moving into, Retrograde Extravaganza of 2022. This is why I'm hosting a workshop this Thursday. If you haven't seen that link, check out the link in my profile. As I meant to do this live a lot earlier today, I spent 2 hours on the phone with different banks and institutions that were having to work out some technological difficulties, frustrations, disruptions, irritations, challenges. These are all the themes for this retrograde. Now, does that mean that it's all negative? No, because as I was on hold for 2 hours this morning, all of this landed within the workshop that I'll be teaching on Thursday and kind of the direction and how I'm going to be discussing and activating this way of working with the planets as opposed to complaining about them. So hi, if you're just joining, thanks for being here. So we kind of get this idea, like I wanted to do this live like 2 hours ago, right? We get this idea that now, because so many things are so instantaneous in our culture, that everything can be like that. And when everything isn't like that, or it's not lining up like that, we kind of get into this very masculine, judgmental, negative place about things. But the reality is, these retrogrades that we're going through, and I can list off all of the planets and asteroids that are going to be retrograde, especially with this full moon that we're moving into on Saturday, which is, or I think if Saturday's the 10th, I should probably look at that. If you don't already have your planetary planner for this year, the digital version is still available, and you still have time to do all of the fall equinox and full and new moon for this month on there. And pre-orders for the 2023 planetary paper version planner are available now. And if you join the workshop this Thursday, you get a very special offer to get, I think it's like $20 something off of your purchase for the 2023 planner. So, okay, what am I doing? I'm looking to see when the full moon is. Okay, so yeah. So we have it on Saturday, the 10th, in 17 degrees of Pisces. It's sandwiched between Juno retrograde and Neptune and all of the other planets I'm going to talk about that are retrograde here. Okay, so we have Chiron, Mercury, Uranus, Saturn, Vesta, Juno, Jupiter, and even though Mars is not retrograde, there is a lot of activity with Mars, and Mars will be going retrograde pretty soon here. So Mars is squaring this full moon, and anytime we have Mars squaring a full moon, we are going to have agitation, frustrations, challenges. We want to be really cautious about moving about in the world, especially having to do with things with water or things that in your house with your plumbing and things like that. You just want to be really aware. And if things come up, you know that they're probably included in the themes of this full moon. So whenever we have a full moon squaring Mars, it's just this challenge, this added agitation. Not only that, but then we also have Mercury, which will be retrograde for this full moon, bringing in its own level of frustrations, delays, things working differently, bringing irritability, frustrations, and a little bit of tiredness. So if you're feeling that, just needing to slow down while everybody's like, oh, it's fall, we need to speed up. It's like, no. This is the time to slow down. Take your time. Take your time on decisions, take your time on communications, take your time in driving and the way you're moving around the world. So one thing, so I was on hold and I was like frustrated with this slowing of my day, like having to take 2 hours out of my day to do this thing. But what I want to remind you, and that you all know already, but I want to remind you and help you remember, is that when things are stalled or things are delayed, it offers this amazing opportunity for us to shift our perspective and see things in a different way. It also offers a time for us to maybe meet someone that we were meant to meet or run into someone that we are meant to run into. And we really want to trust any of these delays or disruptions that we're having, that there is some nugget, there is something in it for us, or else it wouldn't be happening. The planets aren't doing anything to you. When this many planets are retrograde in the chart, did I mention Jupiter? I didn't. Jupiter's also retrograde. When this many planets are retrograde in the chart, it's a growth period, but the growth isn't in our external world. The growth is all, hi, if you're just joining, the growth is all in the interior world, right? In here. And when that's happening, it reminds me, if you've raised children or babies, you've had babies, you probably know that when they are going through a huge growth period, it actually looks like a regression. It actually looks like they're moving back. Oftentimes, when a baby is learning to walk, they will all of a sudden want to sleep next to you and near you and not let you move away. And it's because they're going through such a huge growth period that it kind of shakes them. And a lot of the things that they're doing in their dream time is they are recalibrating and they are stabilizing themselves. And so they want to do this with the person that they feel the safest with, right? And so when we are going through these growth periods and when we're having this inner growth, it can shake us, it can rattle us, it can make us feel destabilized. And the ways that we find to stabilize ourselves are often slowing down, resting more, taking more time to process, taking more time to journal, being around people that we feel safe with, our people. And so knowing that we are all in this collective, massive growth period, but we aren't necessarily going to see that in the external world. Just like when you're raising a baby and your baby's starting to walk and they seem like they're regressing and they seem like they're more fussy and they're needing you near them all the time, especially when they sleep. This is also what we might see in the collective at this full moon, because there is so much agitating energy. The full moon's happening at the top of the chart in the very visible world, and things will happen for us to learn from them. So just like with a baby that's going through this growth period, but we're not really focusing on that. We're focusing on the regression. We're focusing on where they're not behaving or doing what they need to do. The same is true in the collective, where we might see things that kind of want to prove to us or show to us that things aren't moving forward, that things aren't changing, that we're maybe moving backwards or things are getting worse. And what I encourage you to do during this time is really kind of tune that out and go with what you know at your deepest core level that you know is shifting within you and where you've grown, seeing how far you've come. It's very important at these retrograde times when we are stalled and things are delayed and things might be feeling really frustrating and irritable and all the things, to really look back at this last year, look back these last 3 years, and really look and see like how far you've really come, because we often will focus on the obstacle. We'll often focus on the hiccup. We'll often focus on the problem without seeing the deeper lesson, without seeing the deeper invitation into this next level of what is being invited in. So all of this being said, I want you to know if you're feeling tired, irritable, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling challenged, if you're feeling like you're moving backwards in some ways, if you're feeling all of these different feelings, don't try to chase them off. Don't try to skate over them, but be aware that they're coming up for a reason and that it might not be what it appears to be, right? Things are different than how they appear. And if we're feeling really frustrated in one area of our life, it's just inviting us in to do a deeper introspection into how we're relating to that thing. Mercury retrograde in particular has to do with processing and communication. And the most important communication that we often overlook is the way we're communicating to ourselves, the way that we're communicating to our body, how our nervous system is able to regulate or get deregulated based on the messages we're sending ourselves. And if we're just choosing to focus on what's wrong and what's not working. So as we're moving closer to this Mercury retrograde, I really invite you to look at where it's happening in your chart and how you can reorient yourself, because ultimately that's what's happening in the stars. That's what's happening with the planets. The planets, we're spinning on planet Earth, we're spinning and moving. And all the planets are spinning and moving around us and with the sun and around the sun and all these things. And when retrogrades happen, the planets up here to be moving back. And in astrology, for those of us on planet Earth, it's a different perspective. The perspective is shifting. The perspective is offering us a different outlook, a different way of seeing things, a different way of relating to the facts, to the situation. We get to see things from a different angle. I wanted to make a reel about hit them angles. It's like hitting those angles in a different way. And maybe you don't like the way your butt looks in that picture, but ultimately it's shifting some perspective for some kind of way. So shifting the way that we're seeing things changes the way we interact with the thing. And this is really where we're at. So, which brings me to Thursday's workshop. If you haven't registered, the link's in my profile. Definitely check it out. It offers some other amazing bonuses and access to other programs and ways of working with me at a discounted rate. But not more than that. This full moon is huge. If you haven't looked at the chart for this full moon, it's really big. I'm going to be talking about it in another thing in small detail. But for me to be able to go into this in a really massive, transformative way for you, it requires being able to hold a sacred container. And that sacred container is $88. It's this Thursday at 4:44 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You bring your chart. We dive into it all. Pisces is the deepest of the deep. It is the deepest of our consciousness. And so when we get to a full moon that's as conflictive and as intense as this full moon is going to be this weekend, we have to see it at a deeper level. We have to look at it from a different way and a different perspective. And Saturn is really a huge part of really where we're going to be for this whole fall. But specifically with this full moon, it's really wanting to be heard and talked about. And one of the things about this is that we have to be able to take our dreams, our visions, our ideals, our ways that we want things to look in our life, our ways that we want things to feel in our life. We have to take those dreams and discipline ourselves to embody them, to live with them, to interact with them in the 3D, in this realm, in this embodied way. And the only way that we can do that is by understanding Saturn's movement through Aquarius right now, and then Saturn in your chart, where it is, what it's interacting with. So we're going to be diving into this. And a huge part of this is at the full moon in Pisces this Saturday, we have access to so much. And it might come across in a conflictive way. It might come across in a challenging way. We might feel frustrated. We might feel tired. We might feel all these things. But at the deepest level, in our subconscious, universe is saying, hey, this is the most fertile, amazing, beautiful space and time for you to pull from the collective consciousness, for you to pull from this rich spiritual lubrication of all the planets retrograde and all the things that are happening and create something amazing for your life. So if you're all about that and you really know that you're here to bring something forward, to share something with the world, this is who this workshop is for this Thursday. So the link's in my profile. I hope to see you there. Even if you can't come Thursday, there will be a playback of that workshop that'll be available. But if you register now, you get access to that playback and you get a discount on the 2023 Planetary Planner. This is the 2022. 2023 is coming out. Can you believe it? This is why we have to do this work, because time just keeps moving. And we need to interact and be with our free will and enact different things in our life to make things happen, make shit happen, okay? So if you want to get access to that special discount, register for the workshop. Even if you can't make it live, there will be a playback. And there's also a bonus of a discount on one-on-one 40-minute readings with me that you get access to when you click the link in my profile for that workshop. That all being said, I'm super excited about this full moon, even though it's big, it's massive. we always want to know that things are trying to help us. Things are trying to work through us. And the more that we can make space for that and believe that, the easier things come in our life, the more graceful we become in our own lives. Okay. So I love you all. Take good care of yourselves. This can be a really big time of panic and anxiety and dreams being weird and, feeling like just anxiety attacks, kind of like on the brink. And what I want to remind you of, and you can go back and watch my Virgo, the Sun in Virgo video, is that's just energy. That's just energy that's trying to make a home with you. And so you can either shoo that energy away, or you can learn to translate that panic and anxiety that you're starting to feel like maybe is a negative thing into, ooh, what is this thread? What is this energy that wants to be with me? And how can I digest it in a different way? How can I work with it in a different way? What is the universe wanting to give to me? What is the universe wanting me to work with right now, in this day, in this life? For me, that might be doing a live or offering a workshop. For you, that might be offering something to your workspace in a different way, or giving something to your kids in a different way, taking them on an adventure. This is just energy. It's not positive or negative. And so when we have all these planets that are retrograde and they're offering this opportunity to shift perspective, they're offering this opportunity to see things different and work with things differently, and we're in a full moon time period, building to a full moon, the extra need for digestive time, rest time, integration time, and at the same time balancing that with activity, moving our bodies so that all that energy isn't feeling just like too overwhelming. Sometimes the simple act of going for a walk or having a large glass of water shifts your whole day. So this is Virgo season for you, the practical, and then added with that super impractical, beautiful energy of Pisces, which is all about tending to and caring for our spiritual selves, our energetic body, and it's all connected. So if you haven't already had a chance, check out the workshop that I'm offering on Thursday. You can send me any questions you have. I'm super excited to dive into this in a deeper, bigger way for you to look at your chart and really know what's being asked of you at this time, where the energy is wanting to come through, and what's asking to come through you, so that this fall can be a lot more practical, proactive, and organized, which we all love and want. All right, take good care of yourselves. I love you all. If you missed the beginning of this, you can go back and check it out when I post it. Okay, bye-bye.